That's the thing. Does Indianapolis suck? I don't know.
No, Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. But, like, Indianapolis this year is not like a team that is flat out awful. They're not like the Cardinals. They're not like the Patriots. But I don't know. And because we're Browns fans, we always anticipate what's going to go wrong. Some people are expecting a letdown after last week's performance against San Francisco. I expect them to at least still be able to. I expect them to at least put up a similar, not similar performance, but at least the same level of effort the defense will put up against Indianapolis. This isn't going to be a game where I think they like take a rest and give up like 35 points. But at the same time, you're probably not going to have Deshaun Watson back. I believe we saw him talk yesterday regarding his injury like prowess, saying that the team is pretty much still on the same page about his recovery, and really at this point, it's week to week at this point. We are on a day-to-day, week-to-week, hour-to-hour basis of where Deshaun Watson's injury stands, and it's frustrating because you want to know if your number one guy can go play, but at the same time, we don't want him to rush back and do something that, you know, could jeopardize the rest of his season and maybe onward. So I don't know. Like, what do you have any takes on like this whole rigmarole of Deshaun Watson may be able to play, may not be able to play? We've kind of talked about this already.
All right, at this point, I just don't know. Like, it's just I don't want to speak because it's not my body. I don't know what it feels like, what he's going through, what exactly the injury is, which I feel like we're starting to get an idea what it is, but we don't truly know if it's actually the rotator cuff or this or that. Or
he said it was a rotator cuff issue yesterday, yeah.
But, I mean, why are we just finding out about it was the rotator cuff now? But the past few weeks, it's just been lingering. We don't know yet. You know, Stefanski expects him to play. He doesn't play. I don't know. It's frustrating. It is. I'd really like to know what it looks when he throws the ball right now. Like, does he not have the velocity on it? Does he not have the touch? Is he just scared to get hurt if something's sore? Like, I don't know. And so that's why I'll leave it at that. The Browns should win this game Sunday. If they lose to Gardner Minshew, who is a poor man's, not even just a poor man's, he's an extremely poor man's Baker Mayfield. When somebody said poor man's Baker Mayfield. But he's like, that's still offensive to Baker, I think. Like, he's got to be like, we'll go with basically Mac Jones.
Oh, that's
just with a headband and long hair.
That's a bold.
So if this
comparison.
defense can't stop him, then that says all I need to know about the defense. Well, and in terms of a letdown performance, you just stopped the 49ers.
Yeah.
I don't care if CMC and Debo missed half the game.
Right.
You just stopped a team that hadn't lost since week 7 of the regular season last year. You just stopped a team that had scored 30-plus points in every single game they played so far this year. You can't stop Gardner Minshew and Zach Moss. I'm not even going to talk about Jonathan Taylor. Because he's not even carry. Zach Moss is apparently just the greatest thing of all time. And all he needed was Jonathan Taylor to get signed for him to start proving himself. Shame on Buffalo for letting him go. Buffalo does not know how to treat running backs whatsoever. They think their quarterback's a running back, which is only going to screw them over here in a few years because he's going to take hit after hit after hit like Cam Newton. Either way, I'm off tangent here. If the Browns lose the Colts, then the season's over.
Okay, so you're jumping back on the panic train if the Browns lose and go back to 3-3, even though we talked about some of these upcoming matchups they're going to have, particularly against NFC West opponents that are extremely winnable. Now, Well,
Kevin Stefanski is also 7-0 versus AFC South opponents. So that's why I feel confident they're going to win this game. But I'm saying, unless the reason we lose is P.J. Walker throws 3 interceptions that get returned for touchdowns, or the special teams unit gives up punt return, kick return touchdowns, there's no reason this team should even come close to losing the Indianapolis Colts. This is also in Indianapolis. There's going to be a lot of Browns fans there. I can promise you
I've heard that.
There's going to be there's a bunch of Browns backers bars in Indianapolis. It's a 4-hour drive from here. It's not that far of a drive. I mean, you drive 2 hours to Pittsburgh. What's the difference driving to Indianapolis for a 1:00 game?
Fair.
I think that everything would have to go wrong for the Browns to lose this game. And everything would have to go right for Indianapolis. And that's why it would be a letdown, because I just don't see, unless this team is a team that has to have bulletin board material, because we saw the Browns post this past week, posting all the people that picked the 49ers to win, posting what Dante Whitner said, posting what, was it Jimmy Johnson or
somebody on Fox NFL
what
Sunday.
they said about the 49ers and Browns.
What the Big Time Sports Podcast show said about them the week before.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Browns? You suck. Boom. Win guaranteed.
Nobody's going to take that clip out of context. That 1 second clip of you saying they suck.
You guys suck and need to prove it. You can win 2 games in a row.
Stop.
And if you don't,
Stop it.
I'll probably still be a sick person to watch you every week.
Yeah.
Unless you ruin my day.
You're a sadist. We all know this. Is that the right term? I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, at the Colts, at the Seahawks, and you come home, you play the Cardinals. Then you go to Baltimore, which I'm just going to tell you right now, that game's terrifying to me.
In Baltimore?
In Baltimore,
Yeah.
I do truly believe, call me crazy, this is going to be a hot take of the week. This might be a clip that you're probably going to put out. I do believe that Joe Woods was only good for 2 games a year, and it was against Baltimore Ravens. he always somehow schemes something up to be able to stop Baltimore or limit their offense. When you go back and look at those games, there probably is like one anomaly in there where Baltimore just kicked the shit out of us.
Mm-hmm.
But that game scares me. If I'm looking ahead, the Seahawks will be interesting. Cardinals, that if this team loses at home to Josh Dobbs,
Yeah, it'd be rough.
Jimmy Haslam may fire Andrew Berry on the spot.
Might. Just might.
The Ravens are scary, but then you come home, the Steelers don't scare me. We know we should have won that game. I mean, we're not going to get back into that one. That still triggers me. Then you go to Denver. If you lose to Sean Payton, you should probably be fired. Then you go to LA.
Who'd have thought 3 years ago if you just said that would have been crazy, but yeah.
Well, we beat Sean Payton when he was in New Orleans before.
He did, yeah.
Then you go to LA, the Rams. That one, toss-up, I think. It just depends how they're playing, right? Then you come home against Jacksonville, who I think is one of the most overrated teams in the NFL still. And then you play the Bears. If the Cleveland Browns are not 6-3 or better in that span, with the little asterisk next to it that Deshaun Watson plays in 7 of those 9. So I'm giving Deshaun another 2 weeks, right? I'm saying maybe he comes back against the Cardinals, okay? Because he's uncommittal on the timetable for his return. We don't know. He could start Sunday. He could start next week. He could not be back at all. I'm saying right now as I do this, I have Deshaun Watson. I pictured in my head, I have Deshaun Watson starting at least 7 of the next 9 games.
Okay, so you have him at 9-5 on the season then. If you say they were going to 6-3 during that stretch.
They would be 9-5 then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I think even if they were to go 5-4 during that run, I'd be okay with that. I mean, there are some teams in there that you definitely should get wins against, depending on the circumstances, because Arizona is definitely going to put up a fight. Josh Dobbs is going to put up a fight against a team that decided to just get rid of him for a 5th-round pick. Whether or not that was the right move, we don't know.
He could be.
He doesn't have. I know he's not like the type of starting quarterback that can like. It's not like a Baker Mayfield where for some reason that man just thrives on low expectations and like everybody doubting him.
Yeah.
Which we didn't last week. We're not going to get into that. But I don't see even Dobbs being that comparable to even somebody like Baker, which Baker is even on his own thing.
I think we know the type of person Josh Dobbs is.
Yeah.
We know the type of person Baker was, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with being the way they are.
No.
I think Dobbs, if anything, should be more thankful because he would have been backup quarterback here. You know what I
Fair.
mean? Where now he's the starting quarterback in Arizona.
True.
And although his biggest issue, if you've watched anything recently, was they didn't have his jersey in the team shop. Now they have his jersey in the team shop. Now they can buy it and send it to his family and friends.
Well,